Parents often believe their sacrifices will one day be rewarded with gratitude, love, and the knowledge that they did everything possible for their children. I believed the same. I believed my daughter would see the sleepless nights, the endless overtime shifts, the meals I skipped so she wouldn't have to, and understand that all of it was for her. But as I sat in my car that night, engine humming, headlights piercing the dark, I saw her in my rearview mirror, my little girl, now grown, banging on my window with tears streaming down her face, begging me not to leave her behind. The hardest part wasn't her begging. The hardest part was knowing that for years, she had already left me. The early years, building her world. I raised Sarah alone after her mother passed away when she was just 7. At the funeral, Sarah clung to me, her little hand trembling in mine, whispering, "Don't ever leave me too, Daddy." That promise became my entire life. I worked 2 jobs to make sure she had what other children did: new clothes for school, extracurricular activities, tutors when she struggled with math. I never bought myself a new suit, never took a vacation, never dated again. Every dollar, every breath, every ounce of strength went to making sure Sarah had a future her mother would have been proud of. And for a while, it seemed to work. She got into one of the best universities, the first in our family to do so. I sold the small plot of land my father left me to pay for her tuition. I told myself it was worth it when she hugged me tightly and said, "Dad, I'll make you proud. You'll see." The drift, a father's silent worries. But the Sarah that came home on breaks wasn't the same girl I raised. She seemed distant. Distracted. Her laughter had a sharpness to it now, tinged with something performative. She avoided eye contact, scrolling on her phone while I tried to talk about life at home. When I asked about her studies, she brushed me off. When I pressed too much, she snapped. "You wouldn't understand, Dad. Times are different now. Stop treating me like a child." I convinced myself it was normal. Young people grow, they change. I told myself not to suffocate her, not to cling too tightly. But a father knows when he's losing his daughter, even if he can't admit it aloud. The betrayal, the truth I never wanted. One evening, I got a call from Sarah. She sounded frantic. "Dad, I need money, just a little. Please. It's urgent." I didn't ask questions. I transferred what little I had in my savings. Weeks later, it became a pattern. Requests grew larger, explanations thinner. Finally, my gut screamed at me to investigate. I drove 3 hours to her campus unannounced. What I found shattered me. Sarah wasn't at the library studying, as she'd claimed. She was at a crowded apartment party, drink in hand, surrounded by people who looked at me with smirks when I called her name. She pulled me aside, red-faced, hissing, "What are you doing here? You're embarrassing me." When I demanded answers, she spat the words that pierced me deeper than any blade. "You're just my ATM, Dad. That's all you've ever been." I froze. My little girl, the one I'd sworn to protect, had reduced my love to transactions. The confrontation, love meets pride. I drove home in silence that night, my heart a graveyard of broken promises. For weeks, I avoided her calls. But then came another desperate message. "Dad, please, I need help. I messed up. I can't fix it without you." Against my better judgment, I went. She had gotten into debt, serious debt. Credit cards, bad decisions, reckless spending. The daughter I thought I knew was drowning. I paid it off. Every last cent. I cashed out the retirement fund I had saved all my life for. My coworkers shook their heads. "You'll regret it," they warned. But I couldn't watch my daughter sink. I told myself it was the last time. I told myself she would learn. But patterns don't break easily. Soon she was back with more demands. More lies. More manipulation. And one day, when I finally said no, her mask dropped completely. You ruined my life, Dad. You never gave me freedom, you suffocated me, and now when I need you, you're abandoning me. I wish Mom had lived instead of you. I felt something inside me fracture. The breaking point, the night everything changed. Weeks turned to months of silence. Then came the night that would burn itself into my soul forever. I was driving home late when I saw her on the side of the road. My daughter, my Sarah, ragged, pale, clutching her arms for warmth. She stumbled into the beam of my headlights. I pulled over. She ran to my car, tears streaming. Dad. Please. I messed up so bad this time. I have nowhere to go. Please, just take me home. I'll change, I swear. Don't leave me like this. Her hands pounded on the window, just like when she was a child begging me not to let go at the funeral. Except now, her eyes weren't innocent, they were desperate, hollow, haunted by choices she refused to own. And in that moment, I realized something gut-wrenching. I had given her everything except the one thing she needed most, responsibility. My love had shielded her so much that she never learned to stand on her own. If I saved her again, would only be chaining her further to this cycle. So I drove away. Conclusion, the silence that follows. As I watched her figure shrink in the rearview mirror, my chest felt like it was being crushed. My heart screamed at me to stop, to turn back, to gather her in my arms. But another voice, one I had silenced for too long, whispered, if you don't let her fall, she'll never rise. I don't know what became of Sarah after that night. Maybe she found her footing. Maybe she sank further before she clawed her way out. Maybe she hates me forever. All I know is that sometimes love isn't about giving more. Sometimes, the hardest act of love is letting go, even when it breaks you. And as the years stretch on, I still hear her voice in my head. I still see her reflection in the glass of my rearview mirror, begging me not to leave. A father's love is eternal. But sometimes, the only way to save the child you love, is to let them lose you first.